Hey, hello everyone. My name's Tim Garrity and I'm the National Editor-in-Chief for the Becker CPA Review Course. I was supposed to be here with my partner in crime, Peter the Situation Olinto, but I just discovered that Pete is down the Jersey Shore chasing his new girlfriend, Snooky. So I'm going to have to handle all those questions that you've been asking, and I've seen lots of them. What's happening on the new exam that's coming up in 2011? Well, we're here to give you a quick synopsis of what that information is. First of all, you can always go to the CPA exam website and you can look at what they're talking about at the AICPA. And we want to show you some screenshots that will indicate that. In addition, if you're interested in anything regarding registration, you can go to the NASBA website, which will talk a little bit about all of the various items. And you can see up in the top left-hand corner, they have the information relating to the CPA exam. And of course, we are always available at Becker to help you with on a state-by-state registration process to handhold anything you need along the way. Now, in obtaining your CPA license, there are three elements that you always need. You have to have the 3 E's: education, pass the exam, and get that important experience. And every state differs as to how that's done. That's why it's so important to contact us to learn about the state-by-state requirements. Now, a couple of things are absolutely the same, regardless of where you're sitting for the exam. And those are the 4 parts of the CPA exam. There's the financial, the auditing, the regulation, and what we call the BEC, the business environment and concept. Now, a lot of people have said they've heard the timing has changed, and you're right. Not the overall timing, but they've moved some of the hours from auditing, half an hour to be precise, down into the BEC section. Now, let's take a look at how they've changed some of the format of each part of the exam. Currently, in the year 2010, the financial, the regulation, and the auditing have been broken up in the following manner. There were 3 testlets that you would take, each with multiple choice questions that comprise 70 points of your exam. Then the final 2 testlets were what they called simulations, 30 points in total, but of those 30, 10 were in the area of writing skills, which a lot of people were fearful of. Well, they're changing it around. Starting in January of 2011, what they're going to do is they're going to have 3 testlets on multiple choice questions, but now it's only going to comprise 60 points of your exam. And then 1 giant testlet with 7 tasks that you'll have to perform, comprising another 40 points on your exam. Now, each testlet must be worked in order, and then once you close it out, you're allowed to move on to the next one. Once you close one out, no going back. It's kind of like becoming an accounting major. You're stuck with us for the rest of your life. Now, International Financial Reporting Standards is now going to be tested in the financial area, and international auditing will be tested in the auditing section of the CPA exam. When it comes to research in the financial area, codification is the word you've got to know for the research tool. Notice that there is no writing skill anymore in audit, finance, or regulation starting in 2011. They're all moved over to the area of BEC. Now, also be aware that 15 to 20% of the questions don't count. They are pre-test questions, and a passing grade is still a 75. Now, the 4th and final section is BEC. This area has also seen some major changes. In its current 2010 set, there are 3 testlets, each one having 30 multiple choice questions, and they comprise the entire exam, 100 points. Same rules as what we've seen before. But in 2011, it's all changing in BEC. There'll be the 3 testlets on multiple choice questions comprising 85 points of your exam. And all of the writing skills for the entire CPA exam are now in this one section. There will be three specific writing skills that you'll have to be able to address for that. This leads to one interesting strategy for those of us who are fearful of sitting and writing. If that happens to be the biggest concern for you, well then make sure you get BEC out of the way during the fall of 2010. Why? There's no writing skills in it in 2010. And then go for the other 3 parts in 2011. Why? Because there's no writing skills there. Now, personally, I don't think that writing skills should frighten anyone. But if that is absolutely the part that you fear the most, then there's a strategy for you. Now, what I'd like to also do is chat with you just a little bit about summarizing what the major changes are going to be. First of all, as we indicated, codification is now the research tool that you will have to use to answer some of the research questions in the tasks. International financial reporting standards will now be part of the exam. Most likely, they're going to be looking for things that are different from the gap under US versus international. Writing skills has now been moved out. And if you're interested in learning a little bit more about what they call the CSO, the Content Specification Outline, you can go to www.cpa-exam.org. Now, when we look at the content for each part of the exam, the Content Specification Outline broke out what it used to be and how it's changed. Overall, though, I'd like to kind of summarize this in the brief time we have together by showing you that they really haven't changed the major components. It's just some of the subtopics within each of the major components that have changed in the area of financial. In the area of audit, though, there's been some radical changes here. The radical changes are to reflect the new terminology and some of the new upgraded standards that are required by the auditor when they're engaged in doing this kind of work. So you'll notice, again, there's a complete change in some of the priorities associated with this. In the area of regulation, we still have the two major topics, tax and law. And if you'll notice, tax has now slightly expanded. Business law is only, again, going to be 19% of the exam in 2011 versus 23%, its current amount, in the year 2010. And BEC. Notice also we've had some changes in this particular area as well, where we've moved certain items out of this area and into other areas and vice versa. So again, we thought we would show you pie charts, which make it very easy to the eye to understand what's going on. Now, the on-demand exam literally breaks the exam up into 4 separate quarters. You are not allowed just to walk into a Prometric site. You actually have to pre-register with them. They'll pick a time along with yourself that's convenient. And by the way, you're not limited to just your state. You can sit for the exam anywhere that a Prometric site is available, and it will still count as sitting in your state. Notice the first 2 months of every quarter are available for sitting. The third and final month of every quarter is a darked out month, which is not open to the public. Nobody can sit for the exam. Now, what we have heard from many times from the AICPA is that, again, they become increasingly heavy and very difficult to schedule people the last 10 to 14 days of any quarter. So that last 2 weeks of February, the last 2 weeks of May, the last 2 weeks of August, the last 2 weeks of November, everybody who procrastinates winds up trying to get in at the last minute. And sometimes they don't have available location sites at your particular place. So what are the exam conditions that you need to know? Well, the very first item is candidates can sit for the exam in any order. If you fail a part within 1 quarter, you have to wait till the next to sit. And once you pass, you got 18 months to pass the rest of the exam. So what's the game plan? Start your studying. Start it studying as soon as you can. Don't procrastinate. Apply for the CPA exam, and we're providing you with the website. Get your notice to schedule, and then schedule with a Prometric site. The website addresses are all there for you. And we at Becker are always happy to help any candidate who's interested in learning about this process. Well, the last item, can you pass the CPA exam? And the answer is an unequivocal, absolutely yes. I'll take a person who's committed to trying to pass over a straight A student who's decided they're too busy and they'll just go in and see how they do. You need to prepare for this exam. And if you do, you'll meet with success every single time. Notice the passing rates are nearly 50% on every single section of the exam. That's a 50% chance. And if you've been preparing, those chances are incredibly high. So we here at Becker wish you the best of success in getting ready to prepare for that exam, and we'd love to hear from you and help you pass. Good luck with your preparation.